it's happening in New York, New Jersey, or Long Island. Hear about it with Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.
Joe on the radio. Radio Piscopo live from New York on AM 970. The Answer around these fine United States of America. AM970theanswer.com. Five Boroughs is here. And Albert is here, and Alison Sher is here. Journalist, blogger, and author of The Millennial's Guide to Changing the World. Alison, we were just laughing before you came in here. You scrambled up here to the studio. Thank you very much. Got through the traffic of New York, New York. Where are you from originally?
Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. You living in New York now?
No, I live in Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh, my gosh, that's like nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So, but you took the subway here, girl?
I took the subway.
God bless you. God bless you. I was to my daughters. I said, no, yeah, take the subway. I'll take the subway. But look at me. These guys can make fun. So many germs or anything. We do have disinfectant in the studio if you'd like that.
Okay,
Yes.
give me a squirt. Give me a squirt. Thank you.
Is that the funniest thing? So tell us about. First of all, you seem so. Forgive me. You seem so bright-eyed and friendly, and a lot of the millennials would come into a radio station like this, kind of, looking us at the corner of their eye, like, who are these old guys? Who are these old white guys? I mean, you know what I mean? You don't feel that way. You feel like the millennials. Do you agree with what the millennials are doing now when they back Bernie Sanders, for example, when they back Hillary Clinton? I mean, which camp are you in, if I may ask?
Well, I've heard that the millennials will either turn this country into democratic socialism or fascism. One or the other. So
what a nice choice. Thank you. Thank you. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. That's it.
That's all I've got for you. No, I mean, there's a quote that says, don't trust anyone over 30. But I actually think every generation working together is the way to go. And we're all, here believing in humanity in our own different ways.
And what are you writing about in The Millennial's Guide to Changing the World? Are you giving them advice? Or are you giving us advice on how to deal with the oncoming onslaught of the millennial generation?
I'm giving millennials advice, and I would say my book is mainly for people who are maybe between the ages of 18 and 30, but it's also very helpful for people.
I'm in that range.
Give or take. But it's also very helpful for people who are older who want to understand these mysterious millennials who aren't getting with the program.
Who are these kids?
Who are the kids these days? So it really explains that, and I went out of my way to interview the widest cross-section of members from my generation.
This is very interesting. And do they skew politically one way or the other?
I would say we're more liberal. I think people tend to get more conservative as they age.
Yeah.
And you could also say that we're also apolitical in many different ways.
Really?
Yeah.
So, and also, you can't forget about the military, because every time I think about the millennials, like, oh, those millennials, we're in trouble now. The United States military, I mean, the bulk of the men and women in the military are millennials, aren't they? And these are fierce fighters, So, and the thing is, I think when people criticize millennials, and help me out here, because you know best, it's like they don't have the responsibility of like I'm a baby boomer. We were all brats. And I love my boomer brothers and sisters, but we're kind of whiny brats a little bit, except for the ones that fought in Vietnam. They're the real heroes and heroines. But our parents came here. They worked so hard. My grandparents came from another country, and then we were like the little whiny brats, baby boomers, and we feel I think the millennials maybe are in the same mode in that regard, But then there's a lot of, I don't know, I see a lot of conservatives on some of the news shows who are millennials. So maybe there is hope. There is hope. Is that what you feel? I'm looking in your eyes. You're saying, no, it's gone. Is this a generation we're just going to have to take off for a while?
I think millennials are late bloomers.
So, wait, so how do we fix this? So I'm retired. I'm in a home. Huh? What? Right? So the millennials come in. Will there be like 10, 20 years of nothingness before the millennials start to blossom a little bit?
I think we're going to see it as we move into our 30s and we move into young adulthood and not this emerging adulthood stage, which is very self-focused, very about, trying to figure out who I am and what's my place. And when we kind of just drop an anchor and decide to commit to something, I think that we're actually going to transition into very grounded civic leaders.
Yeah, but the political correctness is just killing us. Is there too much of that in the millennial generation, you think? The political, worrying about everything,
Oh, yeah, this whole identity politics, and you
Lord.
can't even say the word black, you can't
Yeah.
say the word gay, you got to everyone wants to be called something different so they don't feel emotionally triggered by however they're perceived stereotypically in society. We can't just be ourselves and joke about it.
How do we go forward as a society with that mindset?
Oh, I mean, I think my opinion is that everyone has to do their own inner work to just become comfortable in their own skin and be able to speak their thoughts and live out loud and be who they are in this country, because we do have immense freedom that we don't have in other countries to really be who we are.
Yeah. I keep thinking, millennials, would they vote for, because I see a lot of conservatives, like I said, on TV, and would they vote for a conservative coming down the pike, or are they all hook, line, and sinker Hillary, Bernie people? I'm trying to think. I think there might be a good conservative core. Did you sense any of that in your research? No. I see. Look, grimacing. As soon as I say conservative, I see it. It's like that. The conservatives, are they dead in the millennial situation? Conservatives, come on.
I would say we're mainly liberal, and I think you will see over time more conservative values.
Yeah, when you got to pay for stuff.
When you got to pay for stuff, and
do the millennials
you want to start a business and you don't want taxes up, killing your business.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
And you got to, so they don't understand because they're not really in the workplace. Now, once they go into the workplace, then they'll be, say, whoops, here I go. I better just really hunker down here a little bit, right? Right?
I think maybe so.
Yeah. So what is your occupation aside from before you started writing?
Oh, I've been writing my whole life. Started writing right after college.
So you were a millennial, then you said I'm writing, and you're making a career out of it. Look at you.
Yes.
On the subway in New York.
On the subway in New York.
This is good. You've been very successful at it, doing articles, getting paid to write things.
Yes, and my book is published by Skyhorse Publishing, which is right here in Midtown Manhattan.
You going over today?
No, not today.
Are you gonna go knock on the door?
No, I'm not. They don't.
Say, I'm on Joe Piscopo show. Why would you go on that old guy's show? We're trying to come up with answers. We are the answer. We're just trying to come up with answers.
I'm grateful to be here.
Oh, are you kidding me? The Millennial's Guide to Changing the World. And I don't know. Now, is there a job market for millennials?
Oh, I think so. We're going to be 50% of the workforce in 2020.
And what would the occupation be, do you think? What does it mean? Doctors, lawyers? No, that's all foreigners that come in from other countries.
No, we want to be life coaches.
I tell you how to live your life, right? That's great.
That's what I do. I just tell everyone how to live their lives.
I remember when the baby boomers, they want to do you got to be a doctor. You got to be a lawyer, right? And now there's none of that. I don't see any of that. Wall Street, nothing. I'm just trying to think, is there going to be a void when the millennials get into the workplace?
I actually write about this in my book. It's a joke. You go on Facebook and we have these made-up professions for ourselves. And we're like, I am the CEO of a hot sauce enthusiast company. And, part of it was I noticed during the Great Recession when there wasn't really job opportunities, and we have all this imagination and creativity and wanting to do something. We kind of, we make up jobs for ourselves. But I think we're going to start to get more serious as time goes on, when we want to start building families of our own, and we're taking a lot longer to, become homeowners, to get married, to have children. But when that starts to become something that we want, I think we're going to really shift into training ourselves for more traditional careers. And I also think, our innovation that we have, this desire we have to innovate, is actually going to help a lot of the businesses that we end up becoming a part of.
You write that, before we let you go, that people should be ethical, inclusive, and sex positive in their relationships. What does that mean now?
Ethical. So to me, being ethical in your relationships is being transparent. What are you in this for? We're in this kind of, I would say, almost relationship anarchy time period where,
good point.
Where people are experimenting with having multiple partners.
Wait. So you can date, but then, look, I really like you, but I'm seeing somebody else.
Yeah, you don't got to put a ring on it to get any of the cookies.
But does a ring lock it down or not?
People don't even want the ring anymore, Joe.
How could you? So, hey, hi, you're nice. That you're with somebody the night before. It's like that, you mean?
Oh, yeah, it's like that.
This is madness. This is anarchy.
It's anarchy.
There's no responsibility. No one will get married now.
No, because they're handing out the popsicles for free, Joe.
I know. It's so true. Isn't that true? Oh, my gosh. What do we have to look forward to?
But if everyone's transparent...
I'll be senile by then. Who the heck cares?
He'll be 6 feet under. Let the millennials do what they want. Just let it go. Let go of the reins. No, I think, as long as everyone's transparent, we're using protection, everyone's enjoying the experience, everyone knows what they're getting into, no one is getting what they want at the expense of somebody else. I think we're really experimenting with different ways of relating that can be mutually enjoyable. I'm not saying that they're good or bad long term, but that's just what the kids are doing these days.
Are you hopeful? Are you hopeful, Alison?
I am hopeful. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that change takes a really long time and that everybody has to do their part and that the people who are really doing the most are just quietly working towards what they believe in and their goals. And it's a noble way to be in the world.
Alison Sher, journalist, blogger, author of The Millennial's Guide to Changing the World. Thanks for coming over.
Thank you
so much,
much,
And battling
Joe.
the subway and coming up. And good luck with the book. And thanks for coming in. Keep us posted, okay?
Thank you so much for supporting us.
We're worried about the millennials. We're worried about but it's all going to be okay.
I think it's going to be okay.
Sure.
As long as everyone reads my book.
Okay. A smart girl. Piscopo in the morning. Coming right back at you.
Everybody knows this guy. No, everybody knows he can do a radio show. Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.